here's the science behind this. They're like, look, you have your thing and I have my thing. And as I look at the cross section of the demographic of our ideal clients, of our target markets, there is an intersection here. So a lot of the people that are buying your thing are buying my thing. And so now we have the opportunity to offer up a bundle. And then we have the third intersection point, and we can do that as well. And so we have the three people coming together to then make one product that is actually three products that have been bundled into one. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new edition of the None of Your Business podcast. I'm Shawn and this is Lacey, and we're super excited to be back with you again each and every week, sharing with you a digestible piece of information that hopefully you can take into your service-based business to help you to reach more people, make a bigger impact, and create the lifestyle that you deserve. Now, recently on the None of Your Business podcast, we featured an interview with Phillip Stutts from Win Big Media. And one of the things that he was talking about was the fact that after COVID, a lot of the consumeristic behaviors are beginning to change relative to the way they view marketing and the way they make their buying time decisions. One of the things that we're beginning to see is that the number of impressions that must be made for a consumer to actually decide to engage is going through the roof. I mean, we're just being bombarded by tons of information, fact checking, half of it false. We had the election, we have the pandemic. So there's this like information overload, and you're trying to like squeak in your little thing. Imagine you've got your little thing up against the election and the pandemic, but not just that, it's your little thing up against the election, the pandemic, and everybody else's little thing. And these businesses are trying to resurrect themselves. There's information, who's open, who's closed, what are the guidelines. There's just an overkill of information. But not only that, the economy has been impacted. And so when people are seeing opportunity, they're using a brand new set of criteria now that they're coming out of the pandemic to decide where their dollars should go. And so today, I want to talk about one of the things that Phillip mentioned as a unique thing. Now, obviously, when an economy is impacted, price becomes important, right? So people are considering a price point. No need to do a whole podcast on people are thinking about price. But one of the things that he was talking about was the emergence of bundles. And what I'm beginning to see is corporate America is beginning to understand this. We're beginning to see the proliferation of bundling. And I want to talk about bundles for you, because bundling is not just something that, say, Xfinity or Disney does, although we can take a look at them as examples. This is something that you as well can begin to consider, and hopefully you'll find this useful.
Well, I was going to say, it's really interesting because I was thinking about this idea that how many times does a person have to see your brand or your thing to even begin to recognize or move into doing business with you? So if years ago they were saying at least 7, that number has got to be very, very big now.
Well, over double, they're saying.
At least.
Most people are putting it at around 19. So 19 impressions. That means that, you have to up your digital marketing, your ad spend. You're going to have to appear on various channels. You can't just, rely solely on Facebook ads if that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You need to show up because you need multiple impressions in order to tip the scale.
And I know we're talking about bundling, but I didn't want the listeners to miss out on that point because I think that's very important in the consideration of how you're marketing your business. So even if you're taking something like bundling, you have to remember that you can't just put it out there once and expect people to buy.
So one of the things that I saw that was very interesting is over time, in my lifetime, I've gone from the over-the-air antenna, right? And the knob had 13 channels that you could watch. Then there was cable, and then there was a lot of, television stations that were available on cable. And then you had like direct TV, satellite TV. And now what we're seeing is we're breaking apart. And this is a very natural cycle. We're breaking apart the offerings, and a lot of the offerings are beginning to go to their own apps. So you see things like HBO Max, CBS. Discovery has an app, Food Channel. So each of the offerings is like, listen, we're going to have our own app, ESPN, right? And that's because they figured, look, I could monetize my own viewers. If I have enough viewers, I should just monetize them rather than trying to like piggyback off of Xfinity or DirecTV. I'll let them just come direct to me and they'll just pay me directly. One of my favorites is the ESPN app, right? You know, you go on the ESPN app and you're like looking at the stories, the news, and you click on a couple and you read about what's up, and then you click on one. And in that one, you can't read unless you're an ESPN Plus client. So you got to give them $2.99 a month, and then you can see the stuff. And one of my favorite ones is, if I'm not mistaken here, you have to be an ESPN Plus client to pay them extra for the pay-per-view, the UFC fights that they show, which you're already paying super interesting, right? Like you have to pay in order to get the right to pay, something to consider as well. But then I saw this come out the other day where there was a bundle. We're here to talk about bundles. And the bundle was Disney Plus, which is another great one. Disney was like, look, I'm not going to be putting all my stuff out there on HBO and Showtime and TBS or wherever it was getting put. I should just get all my stuff and put it on my own platform and have my own app, and I could charge people for it. And in fact, one of the ways that they did that was they put out Mulan. Remember, they put out, am I saying it right? Mulan, the movie.
I don't know.
It wasn't a cartoon. It was like the actual movie.
It was something they put out
in order to see it,
people to get out.
You had to acquire the Disney Plus app or the programming. You had to subscribe to it. And so Disney Plus, they have also ESPN. That's a subsidiary. And I believe there's one other that they had in there, but I saw a bundle. I think it was Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu Plus offering themselves up as a bundle so you can buy in one price. Now, here's the science behind this. They're like, look, you have your thing and I have my thing. And as I look at the cross section of the demographic of our ideal clients, of our target markets, there is an intersection here. So a lot of the people that are buying your thing are buying my thing. And so now we have the opportunity to offer up a bundle. And then we have the third intersection point, and we can do that as well. So we have the three people coming together to then make one product that is actually three products that have been bundled into one.
And then there's also the in-house bundle, which is actually, if you look at Discovery Plus, I like what they did as a model. And I don't know who owns all of these stations, but it's like Food Network, HGTV, TLC, maybe Bravo. I could be misquoting what's actually offered on Discovery Plus. But what they did is they looked at like, what are those kind of clients, that target market? What are all the stations that they're viewing? And they put it all under Discovery Plus.
Right, same thing, same concept. So we just take your thing, and then we looked at everybody else, and then we created a bundle, even if we bundled it under one app. It still is a bundle because I'm getting access to, we'll do another podcast maybe next week on access, but I'm getting access to more because of the pre-existing relationship. Right. Now, the next thing, though, that really intrigued me, which is why we're doing this podcast, is then I saw a commercial for Verizon. And Verizon was saying that if you would sign up with Verizon, they would give you the Disney Plus bundle as an add-on, as a value add. And then I was like, wait a minute here, right? Because I can see the link between, right, and even where you were saying, maybe I have a platform and they're all kind of owned by the same company. Disney, they own a lot of things. But wait, so now we're going to introduce a mobile phone. And I thought, gosh, I wish that our listeners of the None of Your Business podcast truly understood what's going on. So first thing is that most people, when we say bundles, they just think about in-house. So, oh, yes, I'm a massage therapist, so I'm going to bundle massage with hot stones, with, stretching.
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Looking at that too.
You could look at that, but that's just enticing them to buy more. That's basically an upsell bundle.
Sure.
Whereas a smart bundle in today's times, in the times of the pandemic, would be to say, I'm a massage therapist. I'm going to look at all the other things that my clients are engaged in.
Yeah.
Maybe they all go to the same yoga studio. So we have massage clients going to the same yoga studio and the same hair salon, for example. And can I create a bundle there? Right. And so all I have to do is offer a three, and it doesn't have to be three. There's nothing magical about three, but a bundle where you can get access to all three of these services for one price. Now, does that mean that we all have to discount? Not necessarily. right? We could just give them the access. As people are looking at this saying, look, I was wanting to go to that yoga studio, but I've been coming here. But now what you've done is created the access for me to be able to go there. But here's where Verizon comes in place. Let's say that it was the massage therapist and the yoga studio and the hair salon. And you realize that your clientele, you had that intersection. You'd actually studied it, and that made it a smart bundle. And we didn't want a discount. But we also realized that all of these people that we shared in common, when they were in our place of business, that they all used iPads when they were waiting for their hair to set, when they were waiting in the waiting room at massage, when as soon as yoga was over, we noticed that they grabbed iPads. We could bundle, get these 3 services at regular price, and we will throw in a free iPad. So in effect, at a value add.
Yeah.
And now people are like, well, wait a minute. I was wanting to go to that hair salon. I was wanting to go to the yoga studio. And I love iPads. My iPad's getting old.
So it makes the most sense for me to do it this way.
It triggers them into doing that.
And I like that, because then you don't want to end up down the line like Comcast or now Xfinity. They were like the king of bundling.
Well, that was the in-house bundle.
And that was the typical in-house bundle, right? And what happened was they would bundle your internet, they would bundle your cable, and they would bundle your phone.
The triple play.
It was the triple play. And over time, what ended up happening is they're still giving you the triple play. I know there's a lot of you out there listening right now that have the triple play bundle, and you've never even plugged in a phone to your landline.
Right, because it was cheaper.
And it was cheaper.
It was cheaper to get the phone than to not get the phone, but now you have the phone.
Because you have it, and you're like, that was kind of dumb.
Well, once the teaser price wore off, and then you had to pay for the phone that you didn't have. And then people called, and then people got their rates reduced.
So this avoids you having to go through that process. And there's actually a lot more power in, connecting with other businesses in the community that your clientele want to do business at anyway, and bundling in that way versus always thinking in a box in the in-house bundle.
Right. So hopefully this stimulates some thought.
Yeah.
You need to get together with other providers in your area who share your same demographic, your same ideal client and target market.
Yep.
And you need to sit down and brainstorm, how can we bundle? And it doesn't mean just discounting. There's a lot of creative ways that you could bundle. But one thing is for sure, for the rest of 2021, now especially that we've mentioned it on the podcast, you're going to see bundles everywhere. It will be the most innovative bundles that not necessarily like, similar things. It's the Verizon Disney Plus partnership that will bear tons of fruit for you. Think about it. See if you can figure out an appropriate bundle for you and your service and some other providers in your community. It will make a big difference for the people that you serve. Anything to add?
Nope.
We'll be back again next week with a brand new edition of the None of Your Business podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, leave a review. All the cool things that the cool kids are doing with their podcasts. We love and appreciate you doing the same for us.